What's up? What's up? How's it
Happening.
going, man? Man, all the good things and all the challenging things and all the things. How you doing?
Same, dude. Yeah, it's been hot. And then doing some tree work and sweating a bunch um but yeah, it feels good as long as we stay hydrated.
Yeah, nice. So today I wanted to talk about something that has kind of been sitting on the shelf for a while, you know,
Mhm.
something I've wanted to talk about, and just kind of left it there for the moment that I was like, now is the time, and now is the time. And so we've been, talking about different books. Some of the episodes we've been talking about different books. And there's this one book that I'm realizing more and more, the more I share it with people, I'm realizing like hardly anyone has read this book. I'm still haven't, when I say hardly anyone, no one that I have spoken to has read this book. And it is such a great book. And so it's called The 40 Rules of Love, by the author is Elif Shafak. And it's a insane book. And so I really wanted to talk about this today and break it down. Not only kind of like what the book's about, but throughout the book, it talks about the 40 rules of love, right? And the person that it speaks about is someone that I look at as a great teacher and a great mentor. And so let's just fucking get into it, dude, and kind of go from there. And so I'm just going to read out about the book and about the person that we're going to be talking about. And then Dan and I are pretty much going to go back and forth as we go through the 40 rules of love and kind of expand upon them and what they mean to us in our lives. And if you're listening to this, man, I would definitely listen to this whole episode because there's some gold here, man, and it's been gold for a very long time. The person that we're talking about was born in 1185, and so this gold has been it's been ruminating, and many people have missed it. So who we're talking about today, most people have never heard his name, but without him, one of the greatest poets who has ever lived might never have written a single verse. And his name is Shams of Tabriz. All right. He was a 13th century Persian mystic known as a wandering dervish who cared nothing for status, reputation, or the approval of polite society. He was wild, provocative, and spiritually fearless. He didn't teach in academies or preach from pulpits. Insane pulpits. Let's look up what that is because I don't even know what that is.
Like where
Pulpits.
you stand like as a preacher, like where it's like
Okay.
where you stand in. Yeah.
Thank you,
Hold
because
it.
I don't know what that is, dude. He roamed from city to city searching for one thing, a soul worthy of a true conversation. He found it in a man named Rumi. Some of you hopefully have heard of Rumi. Again, he is another beautiful teacher and someone that I look up to. So when Shams arrived in Konya in 1244, Rumi was already a respected scholar and religious teacher, respected, but not by his own later admission, asleep. Their meeting changed everything. The two became inseparable. Rumi abandoned his lectures, his students, his carefully constructed life, and dove headfirst into a spiritual transformation so intense it shocked everyone around him. Out of that transformation came the Masnavi and the Divan-e-Shams, tens of thousands of verses of poetry on love, God, loss, and the nature of the soul. Works still read and wept over 800 years later. Shams eventually disappeared, possibly killed by those who resented his influence over Rumi. Rumi never fully recovered. He spent the rest of his life writing to him, for him, about him. One man, no books written, no institution built, and yet his fingerprints are on some of the most beautiful words ever put to paper. So today we're going to explore who Shams really was and what his 20 rules of love, his 40 rules of love are really about. And so I'm excited to share this with you all. The book, 40 Rules of Love, is pretty much about what I just said. It's pretty much about Shams's meeting with Rumi and the influence it had on Rumi's life. It's also about Shams's life as well, like before he met Rumi, and about his death. Again, there's not definitive understanding of how he died, and I mean, again, a lot of it's like hearsay, what happened between the two of them. You can read so many different perspectives on what happened between the two of them, and so on and so forth. But one thing for sure is that Shams was Rumi's teacher, and without Shams, I mean, yeah, who knows? Who knows? But everyone knows Rumi, and no one really knows Shams. And that kind of, to me, I don't know. I just think that's cool because, it's the dude in the shadows that no one knows that really is the boss man, And the more I learn about him and the more I read about him and the way he went about life, the more I resonate with him. He's just no bullshit, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I resonate with him because I feel like that's my truest expression. Like I don't like beating around the bush. I don't like bullshit. You know what I mean? I like telling it straight. And some people, depending on where they are within their journey, are not able to receive that in a loving way, even though it's coming from a loving place. And Shams was very much the same. A lot of people struggled to receive him, especially scholars, especially people that had very big egos and thought they already knew what was going on. But he was like a man of the people. And so, dude, like he would go to brothels and talk to prostitutes. He would speak to the homeless people on the street. I mean, he would talk to all the people that everyone else, all the scholars and all the religious, spiritual people judged and never spoke to. And so they would look at him like, what are you doing? You're beneath us and all this bullshit. Reminds me a lot of like the stories of Jesus in a way when I read more about Shams, right? Didn't care who you were. He loved you regardless, right? And his love expressed differently to different people. He would challenge people with his love. He would caress people with his love. He would comfort people with his love, depending on what the moment needed. And again, I understand that. I think for a long time I thought love was one thing, and I think there's a lot of people that think love is one thing. Love is this. A lot of people think love is this like tender, submissive thing, right? That's how you have to be in order to love. That's not how I feel at all, dude. Love can show up in anger. Love can show up in challenge. Love can show up in so many different ways. And the only person that really knows where it's coming from is the holder of that love. And so here we go, dude. Here we go. Oh yeah, and let me just finish off. So the book's pretty much about like it goes back and forth between present day, and it's about this woman who is working for like a publishing agency, and she's reading the book 40 Rules of Love. And it goes back as she's reading the book about Rumi's life, about Shams's life. It pretty much goes back to that time and tells those stories, right? And it goes back and forth, and it changes this woman's life reading this book, and it's epic. If you haven't read it, start reading it today. It's amazing. So, what I want to do is pretty much go through the 40 rules of love. We may get through it all in this episode. We may split it into two. Let's just kind of see how we go, right? So, Shams lived from 1185 to 1248. So, pretty old dude. Um, so, rule number one. Oh, and I want to preface this with saying the word God is used a lot. And so, however you receive that word God is how you receive it. Whether you receive it as God, like a dude in the sky, or whether you receive God as like the universe or the field of possibility, whatever God means for you, right? Don't think of it as like one God, like a Christian God or whatever it is, right? However you receive that word, right? And so don't let that be a roadblock for you to understand what we're talking about, please. So, the 40 rules of love from Shams. Rule number one. How we see God is a direct reflection of how we see ourselves. If God brings to mind mostly fear and blame, it means there is too much fear and blame welled inside us. If we see God as full of love and compassion, so are we. So, I mean, I've been talking a lot. Dan, what comes up for you?
Yeah, no, I like it. I think it's true, not even with how we see God. I think it's true with how we see most people. I think, and you could, make that argument or that that thought that everyone is is divine and is God. So I guess that could be true as well. But I mean, I think we talked about this before, but yeah, some of the things that frustrate me the most about other people are just things that I haven't either figured out in myself or figured out how to deal with, in myself. So I think that's very relatable.
Yeah. I mean, you can, man, you can take it every which way, right? Whether, God is everything. And so the way you see everything is the way it is, right? And so, a day to day example would be like the way you perceive how this day is going is the way you're going to feel and probably how you perceive yourself, right? They're the feelings that are going to come up. They're the way you're going to treat yourself, the way you're going to judge yourself, so on and so forth. And so, yeah, I mean, what you said, definitely. The way we see others, the way we see ourselves, you know? Um, and so, yeah, I mean, a lot of these rules, again, they're just the way we interpret them, all right? And so, for me, how we see God is a direct reflection of how we see ourselves. I remember growing up and going to a Catholic school, and I remember thinking that God was like kind of like a dictator, like the Christian God was kind of like a dictator, right? Kind of like this guy that like apparently was supposed to love everyone. This is just my perspective at that time. I was pretty young. A God that was supposed to love everyone, but actually like really judged everyone. And again, I remember like at that point in my life, I was very judgmental. I was very judgmental about myself. I was very judgmental about everyone else. I was very judgmental about God, and what I thought God was at that time. And then as I continued on my journey, and as my definitions kind of like started to soften on a lot of different things, on God, on um, on the world, on the universe, on all these different things, on energy and the way life works. Um, I started to be able to see myself in that same light. And it was really, really beautiful. As I started to realize that all was possible in this world, I started to realize that all was possible within myself. As I started to realize that, and you could even go back and forth, as I started to realize that I was able to love myself, I was also able to realize that I could love everyone else, right? And so it kind of went back and forth, which makes me kind of like now feel into the reality, which is like all is God, including me, and I am God. And so, regardless of how you feel into it, how you think about the world, how you think about others, how you think about God, or how you think about yourself, is always going to reflect back to the way you feel about yourself, and the way you present yourself in the world. And so, yeah, it kind of comes up for me.
Super cool, man.
Yeah.
Number two,
Number two.
the path to the truth is a labor of the heart, not of the head. Make your heart your primary guide, not your mind. Meet, challenge, and ultimately prevail over your nafs, which is self, psyche, and soul. I've never heard that term before. NAFS, nafs.
Neither have I, but I love it.
Sorry. So meet, challenge, and ultimately prevail over your nafs with your heart. Knowing your ego will lead you to the knowledge of God.
You want to go first?
Um, I mean, yeah, this is something I know you feel very strongly about, and
Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. Anytime that I come to a difficult decision or a difficult, trying to figure out how to react in a certain situation, it always helps to check in, with my heart, and I think, yeah, it is the truest kind of compass. Um, that's going to always lead me to where I desire to be.
Yeah, agreed. Um, and at the same time, realizing that it's not like you can turn off your head, right, or your mind. But it is what I've realized. It's really about allowing your mind to be the servant to your heart, and allowing your heart to guide your mind, and off you go. That's pretty much been my journey. And I know that I have been able to really walk a path that felt much truer to me the more I use my heart instead of my head. The more I go to my heart for answers, the more I trust my heart, the more I trust the feelings that come from my heart rather than needing my mind to like agree with everything. Another way to think about that is like your mind only knows what it's experienced. And so when it comes to being able to step forward in this present moment and create something new, create something courageous, step into a space that you have never stepped into before, your heart can really guide you there. It's not that your mind can't, but a lot of the time, your mind is all it's doing is using past events and past experiences to try and like safety check what you're doing. And it just doesn't really allow for the freedom and for the clarity that your heart can give. It also said, knowing your ego will lead you to the knowledge of God. I really enjoy this as well. Simply for the fact that, like, we've spoken about this a lot, right? Like a lot of people like diminish the ego or, talk about the ego as your enemy and stuff like that. And ultimately, two things. Number one, your heart is obviously going to lead you to God. At the same time, your ego is I don't want to say the opposite to your heart, but let's just say that like the truth is coming from your heart and then the non-truth is coming from your ego, for example. And so at on a level, they're both the same thing and they're both leading you to the same place, right?
Yeah.
One is showing you what isn't true and the other one is showing you what is true. And so you can't really have one without the other. And so both are leading you to God. And it's such a beautiful thing. And what a fucking beast, bro. Like to be
Yeah.
able to like make up these rules, dude. What a beast. And so that's how I perceive that. The cool thing about this is like as we're sharing these rules, I'm sure like everyone has their own perspective of what these things mean and what they mean for them. And that's kind of how I feel about every religious text or pretty much everything in the world that we read. You're going to perceive it the way you perceive it, based on your awareness and your experience. But this is how I perceive it, and it really resonates with me. And so I really love that one, dude. That one's great. And if you guys haven't realized already, a lot of these are going to have to do with your heart, seeing as though it's the 40 rules of love. So, um, rule number 3: you can study God through everything and everyone in the universe because God is not confined in a mosque, synagogue, or church. But if you are still in need of knowing where exactly his abode is, there is only one place to look for him: in the heart of a true lover. And so this kind of like now rule 3 kind of goes back to rule 1, right? That we're talking about, like how we see God is a direct reflection of how we see ourselves. And now he's saying you can study God through everything and everyone in the universe because God is not confined to a mosque. So God is everything. So pretty much what we're talking about, right? So it's pretty cool how these are going to build upon each other and give us a more clearer understanding of past ones that we've read. But yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. Like again, talk about God, the creator, the universe, whatever it is that you want to believe in. Personally, if you're asking me, what do I believe in? I don't. I am open to the possibility that all is possible. I don't really pick one thing. I've had many discussions with many people about this, really long, deep discussions. And many people really want me to pick something, but I don't see why I would pick anything. Shams picked something, but again, it's hard to know exactly what he picked and what his idea of God was beyond what he just said. God is everything, right? Not this idea of like God is this one thing. He is the one creator that created all things and stuff like this. Like that's something that I don't subscribe to just because I don't know. I'm open to the fact that that's possible, but I don't know. And so I see God as I don't know. He could be anything. It could be anything. It could be nothing. And so, based off this, if God is everything, Shump sees that God is everything, right? The way I see it is that everything is one. So you can call that God, and so that's what Shumps is calling it. Everything is one. I definitely feel that. That definitely is my experience. Without one thing, everything else is not here, is not possible. How do I know that? Because that has been my experience. My experience has showed me that everything that is here is here. and I haven't experienced where all of this stuff isn't here with everything else around it. And so, my experience is that the trees allow us to breathe. My experience is that the water allows us to drink and stay hydrated, and the animals and the plants allow us to eat and maintain our life, and we give back. And man, it's just this one big, beautiful organism, right? Um, and so, his idea that, or his perspective that if you're looking for God, right, that you find him in the heart of a true lover. The way I perceive that in my life is that that's so cool. When I am with someone who is love, who is in love, I can see myself in them. I can see them in myself. I can feel myself in them, and I can feel them in myself. It's a really beautiful moment of connection. No words are needed. But it is this feeling of oneness. It is this feeling of interconnectedness with all things. And it's overwhelming and beautiful.
Yeah, man. I had a similar experience to you where I was raised in a Christian church, not Catholic, but very similar ideas of God. I remember as a kid having this idea of God, and like I guess my relationship with God was very different than it is now, where I'm able to open, kind of like you said. I believe similar to you, where anything is possible, but I've seen God in so many different people and so many different things, and it's my relationship with God is so much more enjoyable, and I get so much more out of it now with this different perspective.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, the term God to me is kind of like the term love. It's like it's kind of impossible to explain.
Mm.
You just can't explain it, right? But it is this beautiful experience. It is this beautiful feeling. It is this beautiful knowing in the moment when it's happening, right? When you see it, when you experience it. Uh, you know and I think for a lot of people, as soon as you say that word God, it goes to this like singular figure of a creator, like this singular creator. And for me, it doesn't go there at all. It actually is the opposite. There's no singular anything when I think of
Yeah.
God. It's just it's everything. It's infinite. It's all expansive. It includes all things. And so yeah, pretty cool.
All right. Rule 4: intellect and love are made of different materials. Intellect ties people in knots and risks nothing, but love dissolves all tangles and risks everything. Intellect is always cautious and advises, beware, too much ecstasy. Where love says, oh, never mind, take the plunge. Intellect does not easily break down, whereas love can effortlessly reduce itself to rubble. Rubble. But treasures are hidden among ruins. A broken heart hides treasures.
Dude, I love, like, I don't know, like, I mean, I love Rumi. I love Rumi. I mean, I named my dog after Rumi. And so, like, I just love the like language used, and I love like the way things are explained. It's just like so perfect and so beautiful. Like the same in Rumi's poems, but also like when I read stuff like this, I'm just like, dude, so cool.
Yeah, yeah, I like it too. Beware too much ecstasy. Oh, never mind.
Take the plunge, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's like 100%. So the mind versus the heart, in a way, intellect versus love, or intellect and love, or the mind and the heart, right? Is what he's kind of talking about. They're made of different materials. Yeah, I mean, it kind of expands on what we're talking about, right? It's like, again, like the mind is not the enemy. Really important to understand. Just like the ego, like nothing is the enemy, right? If hopefully you learn, like we can learn one thing in this life, is that nothing is the enemy, right? Everything has its purpose. The intellect has its purpose. I feel as a society, we just use the intellect for everything, and the intellect is not meant to be used for everything. The intellect is very good at dissecting, but there are some things that shouldn't be dissected. You know what I mean? The intellect wants to understand, but there's many things that you can just not understand. Hence the word belief, right? I think that's why the word belief was created. I can't understand this, so let me believe in it, right? But ultimately, yeah, that's how I felt in my life, right? Like and what I observe with others, like I see it. Like there is the ability. I'll just speak to myself. I realized in my life that I was not free because I would allow my intellect to convince me that I was not safe. I would allow my intellect to convince me that I could not go do that thing because I would not be safe, I would not be successful, I would be judged, I was not worthy enough, whatever it was, dude. Like my intellect was using past experiences from childhood, past feelings, past belief systems, and then printing them onto this present moment and just saying, don't do that. Beware, too much ecstasy. Right? And then as I started to like step into those places, I realized exactly that. Holy shit, there's not fear behind this curtain. There's ecstasy behind this curtain. There's freedom. There's beautiful things, man, behind this curtain. And another thing that comes up for me when it says beware too much ecstasy is the experiences I've had in life, especially my relationship with Kat, where, there are spaces that I step into that, I mean, I know are abundant in ecstasy, right? Not the drug, the feeling, abundant in ecstasy. And I want nothing more than for her to step into those spaces with me. And in past moments, she's found it hard to step into those spaces. Again, beware too much ecstasy. Like too much what she feels is unknown, too much not safe enough, like all these different things. And again, that's nothing against her. That's just where, she is and how she feels. But again, when she does step into those spaces, I see it. It's written all over her face, dude. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Not too much ecstasy, just the right amount. And so it's super cool, but it is interesting how the mind can convince you that a really beautiful experience is going to be too much for you. Right? It's not even like always like, hey, this is going to be really dangerous. Sometimes it is. This is going to be too good. Like, don't like the perfect saying, too good to be true. Perfect saying, dude. I know I'm not going to do that because that's too good to be true. It's like, fuck, dude, really? That's crazy, man. I'm not saying like don't ask questions and don't be curious, but like if you get to the place where you realize that it actually is really good and you're still in this mode of too good to be true, too much ecstasy, I'd question that, dude. You know what I mean? And the heart doesn't need those answers. The heart's just like, let's go, bro. Because regardless, even if it was too good to be true, it doesn't matter to the heart because the heart's just like, let's go. I can't get hurt anyway. Doesn't matter. I'm safe regardless, right? So take the
Yeah.
plunge.
No, I think it's important to realize that your mind is kind of a survival mechanism, and it's like designed to predict like the worst, right? And it can be helpful in certain situations, like you said. Like it's not the enemy, but as a regular or as a if you're gonna take its advice or follow that over and over again, like you're never gonna experience what it is to be like free. You're always gonna be worried about what could happen or what might happen or the worst possible scenario. And
Yeah.
again, it's not the enemy. It's important to listen to that, but I think it's important to realize where that's coming from.
Yeah, and I want to clarify something as well, right? Like this idea that like people are afraid of the unknown. Like no one is afraid of the unknown because it's unknown. Like how could you be afraid of something that's unknown? So like no one's actually afraid of the unknown. Like we're afraid of what our mind projects into that space, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's exactly what we're talking about here, right? That's all it is. But your heart doesn't project into the space. Your heart's just like, I'm free. I can't be hurt. I can't be touched. I'm love. So let's go, dude. And that's a beautiful thing. Um, Rule 5. Most problems of the world stem from linguistic mistakes and simple misunderstandings. Don't ever take words at face value. When you step into the zone of love, language as we know it becomes obsolete. That which cannot be put into words can only be grasped through silence. Let's go.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I can definitely relate to this one, like just simple misunderstandings or, something you might say just off the top of your head that you might did not quite mean, especially to those closest around you, or if they catch you in a frustrated moment or difficult moment. Um, yeah, and I mean, I think Roxy and I have this issue quite a bit, but at the same time, we're able to quickly get over it and realize that, it is just words, and words can be important. So you can flip that too. They can hold a lot of power, but the ability to kind of go back to it and be authentic and say, like we were talking about just before we started recording, I didn't mean to express myself that way. But it really does mean nothing at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I mean, words are what we receive them to be in a way, right? And so, like, again, it's the paradox. It's another beautiful paradox in life. It's like words mean nothing. At the same time, they hold the value that we give them, right? And so they can seem very powerful, but ultimately there's nothing in them to be powerful besides what we give them, right? Um, and that's kind of, again, that's the paradox, and it's also the illusion. And so then what? Well, like, in the last sentence when he's like, that which cannot be put into words can only be grasped through silence. It's kind of what I was saying before. It's like, that's what love is, right? Like, you can try and explain love, but again, it's got infinite definitions. You can try and express your love, but again, they're just words. But we all know what it feels like. And that's really hard to explain. But it's not hard to know when you're feeling it. You know what it feels like. That's a really beautiful thing. And you don't need words to feel it. You don't need anything to feel it, right? Even like, what you're talking about, it's like I've felt that in my relationships, right? Like, let's say that words become a problem. I make words a problem, or my partner makes words a problem, and we're feeling, unaligned and not so good. And then to snap out of that, a lot of the time, it's not words that snap us out of that. It's love. It's a loving hug, or it's a loving look, or it's just this energy that you exchange, right? Sometimes you just start laughing at the ridiculousness of what's going on, and just you feel back into love within yourself. Sometimes
Sometimes,
one person feels back into love first, and the other one's still fucking stewing, dude, in it, and it's just like, what's going on, you know?
yeah. Sometimes you have to offer them a cookie.
Sometimes, yeah. It's good to know though, dude.
I know.
It's good to know what love languages are though, It's good to know what the other person receives or perceives as love, as a loving gesture. Let's just say, right?
Yeah. And this,
Um,
what comes up for me too, reading this one is just all the power that we give words in like in our society in general. Like, oh, you can't say that, or you can't say this, or whatever it is. It's like, dude, come on.
yeah, yeah, that's stupid.
That's your problem.
Yeah, yeah, it's so stupid. Regardless of what the word is, dude, it's so stupid that someone tells someone else that I can't use this word. It's like, bro, what are you talking about? I can actually say whatever I want. And if you realize where I'm coming from when I say the word, it shouldn't be an issue. The problem is you have the problem.
Exactly.
The word is not the problem, dude. You have the problem, not the word. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Go for it, dude. Rule 6.
All right, rule 6. Loneliness and solitude are two different things. When you are lonely, it's easy to delude yourself into believing that you are on the right path. Solitude is better for us as it means being alone without feeling lonely. But eventually it is the best to find a person who will be your mirror. Remember, only in another person's heart can you truly see yourself and the presence of God within you.
There's so much to this one, dude. Um, so when you are lonely, it is easy to delude yourself into believing that you are on the right path. So what comes up for me when I hear that is like, obviously, no one is ever alone. So loneliness is an illusion. It's a complete illusion, dude. It's like the tree saying, "Oh, I'm alone." It's like, dude, nothing is alone, right? Like life is all around us, in the air, in every living thing. I mean, everything is living, right? But we feel lonely based on our assumption or based on our illusion of like, oh, no one else loves me or no one else wants to hang around me, and we completely like lie to ourselves that things are separate and we create this world of separateness instead of realizing that everything is interconnected and we could never be alone. It's impossible.
Mm.
That's what comes up for me when I hear that. Solitude is better for us as it means being alone without feeling lonely. That's pretty much what he's saying is like solitude is more the experience of like I am kind of going within myself in this moment, connecting to myself, but within the knowing that I'm not alone. I am interconnected to all things, which is really, really beautiful. So I can definitely feel into the distinction between those two. But eventually, it is best to find a person who will be your mirror. Remember, only in another person's heart can you truly see yourself in the presence of God within you. Insane, dude. Which is pretty much how I experience life, which is just like whether it's through Kat or whether it's through you or the people in my life, but they are my greatest teachers because they mirror back to me the places within me that I am not free, right? The places within me that I'm still lying to myself, right? And so that's the beautiful thing. And that's why I think intimate relationships, intimate monogamous relationships are so beautiful because it's one of the ultimate teaching grounds, dude. It really is. I feel very deeply that we pick our partner based off like two things. Number one, we're attracted to them. Number two, they are able to like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like poke. Yeah. They're able to poke the bear inside, dude. They are able to reflect back to us all of the places inside of us that we cannot see just all by ourselves.
Mm.
And that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, yeah, like you said over and over again, they're a lot of times our greatest teacher.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share on number 6?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Sweet. Rule 7. What happens in your life, no matter how troubling things might seem, do not enter the neighborhood of despair. Even when all doors remain closed, God will open up a new path only for you. Be thankful. It is easy to be thankful when all is well. A Sufi is thankful not only when what he has been given, but also for all that he has been denied. Really cool. Go for it, dude.
I love this one. Goes back to, my what I choose to believe is that, I'm always where I'm supposed to be and everything is happening for me. And again, it's not always easy to feel into that, when something goes wrong in your day or you get fired from a job or, you have a situation in your life that feels, like it's the end of the world. But yeah, when you reflect back on your life, you look at all those situations in the past, and really they have either steered you in the right direction or, it told you or taught you a valuable lesson, essentially. And so yeah, whenever I start feeling into like that, where whenever I get into that negative headspace of like why is this happening? Like I get so frustrated. I just try to connect back to that, like, what is this trying to teach me? And that is very helpful. And I'm not always able to do it, but it's been something I've been really focusing on recently.
Yeah, definitely. Well said. Yeah, what comes up for me is something you said a couple episodes ago is like, being okay with not being okay, right? The realization that like when things may not seem like they're okay, can we still feel into the reality that it's okay? It's all right, man. Like, is it okay for this feeling to exist? Right? And hopefully you're able to answer yes to that, right? God will open up a new path only for you. Another way to say that would be like the universe will kind of show you the way. And if you're too caught up in your despair, you won't see it. You won't even notice the door open. And it's okay because infinite doors will continue to be open for you. So it's okay if you miss the first one or the 100th one. It's going to keep coming back around, dude, in a different way, right? Hopefully you notice it eventually. But it is nice to like be able to notice it straight away. And I've experienced that, dude. And it's so cool, like to notice the synchronicities straight away, right? Something happens and then you're aware and you're like, oh, wow, dude, this is really cool. So to notice those doors straight away is amazing. And you can only notice them if you're aware and not stuck in despair. And then be thankful, dude. This is one of my, my favorite things, be thankful not only for what has been given, but for also what has been denied. all of it is divine. All of it is beautiful. And, like I've said many times, that's, kind of my greatest practice is, can I enjoy the things that don't feel enjoyable? Can I enjoy those too and be thankful for those too? So, number 8.
Number 8, patience does not mean to passively endure. It means to look at the end of the process. What does patience mean? It means to look at the thorn and see the rose, to look at the night and see the dawn. Impatience means to be short sighted as to not be able to see the outcome. The lovers of God never run out of patience, for they know that time is needed for the crescent moon to become full.
What you got?
Yeah, I mean, to me, he's kind of saying like light at the end of the tunnel. It very closely relates to the last one. Like, what I was saying is like, you know, what's happening now or what you see right now is not the final outcome. I mean, realistically, if we're talking about a final outcome, there is like, what is a final outcome? Like, we're just on this journey. You know what I mean? It's like it's
Yeah.
it's never ending till we're done.
And then is it still
And
done?
yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah, it's just like persevere is what comes to mind. Just persevere and
Yeah.
um, yeah, this too shall pass is another saying that comes to mind.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, what comes up for me also is like the idea of faith, right?
Mhm.
And so it's like, even if, you don't even know what a thorn and a rose is, or even if you don't know that like you need to look at night to see the dawn. If you even don't know all of those things, dude, and like you can be like, oh, it's okay, like I've always seen the sun rise, so I should be able to see the sunrise again. Like, can you just have faith regardless? You know what I mean? Choose faith, don't choose fear, is what really comes up for me when I read that. Rule 9. East, west, south, or north makes little difference. No matter what your destination, just be sure to make every journey a journey within. If you travel within, you'll travel the whole wide world and beyond. That's really cool, dude. A few things come up for me when I read this. It's like, as someone who has traveled the physical world quite a bit, wow, this is cool. That's why I love this shit, because I just have wow moments as I'm like expressing. So, as someone who has traveled the physical world, every time I travel the physical world, it brings me within myself. I continue to reflect back in with myself, and it allows me to expand, or what feels like a feeling of expansion within myself, and I'm able to encompass more things and feel the interconnectedness of all things. And what he's saying is the opposite, which is also true, and again is another beautiful paradox. Is like the ability to travel within allows us to again connect to the whole and connect to the all and feel the interconnectedness of all things as well. And so it's what I have found, like I have so much gratitude for, is this physical experience. There's a lot of people that have become aware of this, like the path that they're on, the spiritual path, and it seems like they're in a huge rush, bro, to go somewhere. Like it seems like they're in a huge rush to like not like leave this physical world. And I'm in no rush to leave this physical world. I'm so like grateful and thankful that I can experience like the beautiful sensation of like interconnectedness of all things, both in the physical world and within myself. It's so cool that I have like both of those places to go and I can experience the same thing. And that's why I love the physical world so much. It's super cool. And I get to like have the experience of uh like and the illusion of like, how like talking to you when really I'm talking to me. And like just having that super fucking cool relationship with the physical world and again with myself. But in my experience it from day to day, it doesn't seem like it's myself. It seems like it's Dan, and it seems like it's Cat, and it seems like it's a mountain and a tree, and it's just so fucking cool. I'm in no rush, dude.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, having traveled a decent amount myself, like it's super cool to like be different places and just and meet people that like you said, kind of show like you see God in them or you see yourself in them. Um, and I mean, you got to allow yourself to do that too, right? But yeah, it's so cool to go into so many different cultures and like truly be able to connect with people. I know that at our event in Miami, there was people from like all around the globe, dude, and that's really cool to like know, and that makes you feel even more into the whole interconnectedness. Is like there are people out there that are very similar to me, or we're all the same. Who knows? Um, but yeah, no, I think it's so cool, and then it also that contrast of like when you go to war with the place or like countries go to war with each other, it's just like there are like that is you and that is you are at the receiving end of that, which is tough to think about.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where it's like if the people that are making these decisions could truly embody that fact, none of this shit would go down, dude.
Mm,
None of this shit would go down. We would just like you find ways within your relationships with other people in your life to figure shit out without fighting and without fucking losing your mind. They could do the same things. It's just unfortunate that we have so many people in power that are unable to connect to that reality or to reality, I should say. um, something else that comes up for me based on, the whole travel thing is like, no matter where I go, I'm experiencing the same thing. Like so many people come up to me and they're just like, where's your favorite place that you've been? And I'm like, bro, like everywhere I go, I'm experiencing like the same thing.
right here.
Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, like I understand what your question, like I get what you're trying to get out of me, but at the same time, dude, it's all fucking beautiful. Like how do I pick one, you know?
Exactly.
Um, so rule 10.
Rule 10: the midwife knows that when there is no pain, the way for the baby cannot be opened and the mother cannot give birth. Likewise, for a new self to be born, hardship is necessary. Just as clay needs to go through intense heat to become strong, love can only be perfected in pain. Wow.
Dude, how
Pretty cool
fucking
one,
great, dude.
yeah.
How great is Shams, dude? I remember reading this book and just being like, you are the goat. um, what comes up for me is like all of all the intimate relationships I've been through in my life. Again, there's so many other things I could touch on, but this is the first thing that came up for me. It was just like the amount of like relationships that I've had, intimate relationships that I have gone through, that I have felt what was perceived as heartbreak, right? The term heartbreak, and then to come out the other side, like what I have learned about myself and what I've learned about love. Without that, I would still think that love was all the things that I used to think it was. Possessiveness, fucking had to do with circumstance, like judgmental. You had to earn my trust. Like all of these fucking crazy concepts, man, that my scared self used to project onto the world, onto others, and onto myself as love. I would still think that was the case. I had to go through all of that hardship. I had to go through all of that pain to realize that actually, like, no one ever hurt me. It was what was so painful was the belief and the lie that I was not whole, that I was not enough, that love did not reside within me and I needed someone else in order to fill that gap. That's what hurt so much. That's where the pain came from. And that's why it was such a great fucking teacher, because eventually I realized where it was coming from. I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. Like, and then as soon as I was able to feel into the truth, no more pain, bro. Or not from that anyway, right? I still am able to feel pain in other ways. I'm still learning lessons in other ways, but not that lesson. Fucking happy to learn that one, you know? Yeah, that's what comes up for me.
Yeah, I mean, what comes up for me is kind of the idea of contrast, and then what we were talking about earlier is just the trusting that you'll learn from whatever the hardship is, whatever the difficult moment is. Um, but yeah, I love the how Shams used the whole midwife with the baby. Can't be born through without pain. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, like the way that he writes and yeah, the way that Rumi writes and the things that they say and the examples they give, just fucking epic, bro. It's so good. Um, maybe one or two more. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't even know what time we're at, but yeah.
Neither do I. I think we've been going for close to an hour. Um,
Okay, yeah, let's
yeah,
get to
yeah,
12
yeah,
or something, or
yeah. Let's get a couple more.
yeah.
Um, the quest for love changes you. So we're at, right? Number 11. Yeah, rule
Yep.
number 11. The quest for love changes you. There is no seeker among those who search for love who have not matured on the way. The moment you start looking for love, you start to change within and without.
I think you never stop changing.
Yeah, 100%.
You
You know,
keep,
and
that's the whole thing. Keep
yeah,
looking and continue the journey. Never stop changing.
agreed. Yeah, and it's pretty cool how like I mean, it kind of seems like each one continues to like build on the other in some ways. You know, there's so much that I said about the last rule that applies to this rule. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, I think the quest for love is much like the quest for self, right? Like the question like who am I? Is much like the question like what is love in a way. There is no answer that you can give that ultimately is the truth. And so continue to seek and enjoy all the answers you receive through experience, is the way I would say it, right? Um, as soon as you have feel like you've found it, you kind of close yourself off to all of the other possibilities for where it can come from. And so, you know, I found much freedom and much joy and much in like enlightenment and truth and wisdom in the ability to continue to seek, right? Even though I find experiences and definitions and concepts that feel so true and so beautiful and so amazing, and they may be true. That's cool. Keep it there, but keep walking, dude, and see what else comes up, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's not the destination; it's a journey. That's kind of yeah, just the quest. Realizing that you're on a quest for love and not, you're. Well, I guess that's kind of implying that you're searching for to be able to find love. But I think the idea is that you just always are on the quest.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, to bring clarity to that idea, right? That like you can find, what if it's not one thing? Does that make sense? Like, what if it's infinite things? And so if it's infinite things, then you can never stop finding it. You do find it, but you find it in infinite ways.
Yeah,
So then in that way, you would never stop looking because you continue to find it in so many different things. And I think this is so true with so many things in life. Our mind wants us to be like, it has to be one thing. Like God, for example. God has to be one thing. But what if there's infinite gods? Like, what if, like, why does it have to be one creator? Like, there's not one of anything in this reality, but all of a sudden we think there's one creator. And so it's like, I think it's the same thing with this. It's just like, why does there have to be one destination? Why
no,
can't there be infinite destinations? You know?
yeah. I felt love, on a hike by myself, in wilderness by myself. I felt love, with my partner. Obviously, I felt love with people I've just met, and you know, looking at trees and being climbing up in trees, and yeah,
Yeah.
just like that moment of realization where it's like, whoa, like this, that
This is
that's how that
love.
feels like for me too. It's just like, holy shit, like I'm fully here right now. Like this is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that moment of connection, that moment of interconnectedness, that moment of oneness, call it that moment of love, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I mean, you could call it so many different things, but it is that moment. And it doesn't just happen. Okay, two things. It doesn't just happen when you experience one thing, and it also doesn't only happen through like physical experience, if that makes sense, right?
Hmm.
Like, you don't have to go and do something and see something in order to feel love. You can feel it, eyes closed, senses fucking diminished, completely within, like, completely void of self, the idea of self, the feeling of self, and still have this insane, like, overwhelming feeling of love. And so it's like the quest is never ending. And so don't look for a destination, just enjoy the infinite experiences of love.
Last one for today.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Rule 12. There are more fake gurus and false teachers in this world than the number of stars in the visible universe. Don't confuse power driven, self centered people with true mentors. A genuine spiritual master will not direct your attention to himself or herself and will not expect absolute obedience or utter admiration from you, but instead will help you to appreciate and admire your inner self. True mentors are as transparent as glass. They let the light of God pass through them.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
of course, of course. It makes me think about again when I was a little kid and people were trying to teach me of a certain God that would punish you and send you to hell. I was just like, you got to be a fake God, bro. Like, you can't be a real God, dude. You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly what he's talking. Like, bro, you have to be a fake God, dude. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way. Like, what do you? So I have to believe in you, in your name, and if I don't believe in you and your name, like, that's
Yeah.
it. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, what the fuck are we talking about, man? Same thing, dude. And then expand that out to people that we enjoy in this life that have teachings for us and gurus and whatever the fuck you want to call it, man. I mean, what we're doing right now, right? Like sharing information. That's all it is. We're just sharing information. Gurus sharing information. Teachers sharing information. So pretty much everyone is a teacher. Everyone is a student. And so we can really fucking flip this on its head and just be like, pretty much he's talking about everyone, right? And so ultimately, check yourself. And where are you coming from? When you are sharing the teaching and the wisdoms within you, where are you coming from? Are you coming from a place of everyone has to agree with you? People have to admire you? Like what is your intention here? And where are you coming from? I know on my journey, I've continued to refine myself. I've felt what it's like to be the power driven, self centered person. I felt what that's like, and I did not like it. I've felt what it's like to think that I wasn't the power driven, self centered person, but still underneath it all, the power driven, self centered person. And I didn't like it. And I felt what it's like to truly fucking love someone and truly care about them and understand and truly embody the fact that I cannot help them. They are the only powerful person in their life. They are the only person that can help themselves, right? And to come from that place and to see that and to see that person take their power, realize their power, and transform from that knowing is the most beautiful fucking feeling that you can ever feel in your entire life. So much more beautiful than the illusion that I used to tell myself, which was like, oh, I helped that person. It's so much more beautiful, dude, to fucking not only like have like know the truth and see the truth as that person helps themselves, but also observe that person in the knowing that they are helping themselves, in the knowing that they are the powerful one that transform their lives and help themselves. It also feels really good to be able to share my experience and my truth and my wisdom with no attachment to how anybody else feels about it. Dude, I remember growing up and just like trying to convince everyone of what I thought. Like whether it was a fucking who's the best soccer team or whether it was fucking anything, dude, it didn't matter. It's like you're fucking stupid, dude. You have to believe this. This is the right thing, right? And dude, to let go of that and to just be like, this is my experience and this is how I feel. And however you feel, great. I love you regardless, That's for me, man, that's freedom, bro. That's true power. And um, what I've realized is it's so interesting, but people can feel that people can feel that like when someone is like genuine like that and truly loves them and doesn't judge them and really like loves them you
Yeah.
know it's
I think they
it's
could feel the opposite too, when people are just like, "Oh, listen to me," and like, "I know the way." So
agreed.
I think it goes both ways.
Yeah, agreed. um there's also the other experience, right, where you have the people that are like, I know the way, and for the people that are still stuck in the reality of I am not enough, right? I am not worthy, they get drawn towards that. Because again, if I'm not enough and I'm not worthy, and this person is, oh my God, You have the answers for me. You must be God, or you must be the most enlightened guru in the world. Let me follow you around. Um, but there's a difference between that and the teacher that doesn't ask for any students and doesn't claim to teach anyone and is just sharing and loving and giving and serving, and people just want to be with them and follow them. That's a completely different fucking thing. Um, yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I don't have anything else on that one.
Cool, cool, cool.
I
Yeah,
cut it off
man. It's a
12.
lot. Yeah, it's pretty dense, dude. Yeah, I don't want to like go through too much at once because it's fucking
Yeah.
dense. It's kind of like reading certain books like The Power of Now and stuff. It get like there's so much beautiful wisdom in just the first 12 rules that we've already spoken about. And so I feel like, yeah, I feel very complete with this conversation, and I'm excited to do part two and maybe part three. Let's see.
Maybe 3-part series.
Maybe 3-part series, dude. Let's see how it goes because I really want to do this the justice it deserves. And I'm really excited for you as well, dude, because I know you haven't read this book and I've been
Yeah.
talking about it for so long, and I've been talking about the 40 rules of love. And so, I mean, just, dude, just real quick, just off the first 12, like, how you feeling? What are you thinking?
I mean, insane. It's yeah. Again, like we talked about, there's definitely a bit of overlap between some rules, but like, yeah, I love the way he puts into words and kind of like relates things and makes things hit home. But yeah, I really enjoyed this discussion. It's brought up a lot of cool thoughts and ideas, and I appreciate your perspective on everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, dude. Appreciate you too, man. Yeah. It's like, it's inevitable that when we're talking about love, that things are going to overlap. It's inevitable that as you continue to get more specific about our experience and how we perceive love, that things are we're going to repeat ourselves. I really enjoy how specific he is with his rules, and like how he leaves no stone unturned, pretty much. Because could he have made the 40-20? He could have, but would it have actually touched on everything? Not really.
Uh,
And the more I read that book and the more I read them, I'm just really in awe and kind of amazed that just like, I don't know, bro. Like I think about it, I'm just like, this motherfucker, dude. Like he created these. No AI, bro. You know what I mean? Dude, there's no fucking AI, man. Like this is him, dude. This is his writings, and to have someone be able to put this down on paper and be so fucking specific and so amazing and so in depth and so beautiful, again in like rule format. It's not like he wrote the fucking Bible and like story upon story. It's like, no, bro, it's like a paragraph, maybe, two sentences, maybe, and just like hits you so deep. Yeah, it's so cool, man. I love it. So,
yeah, it's been awesome, man. Looking for the second slash maybe third.
yeah, brother. Sounds good, man. Appreciate you, dude. Talk
All
again
right.
soon. All right.